the Island of Misfit Toy Collectors. Dreadnought Ryan here. It is that time of the week for some G.I. Joe Island news. So let's go ahead and get into it. I did receive in the latest wave of the G.I. Joe Classified series. This was wave 114 to 118, and it was such a great wave. It had the mix of the sci-fi fantasy with some military aspects, but I think overall this was a very fun wave, and a few of these figures did surprise me. So let's kind of cover some of my thoughts on them real quick. Quick kick. Absolutely love this figure update. I know there were some folks in some of the reviews that didn't like that kind of pouty face that he has. Reminded me a little bit of Bruce Lee from, I believe it was the Enter the Dragon or one of his movies, where he just kind of gives that little cocky, look to his nemesis. And I think with Quick Kick, it did that as well too. I like some of the updates. The sash is now across his chest. The extra accessories, the nunchucks, the swords, the backpack, all look great. Coming with the extra head sculpt, the hands, and of course the frozen fudgy bar just kind of really just topped off this figure. Quick Kick was always a favorite of mine, and I can't wait to get Alpine so I could put the crew together. Big Bo is kind of the one that surprised me the most. I did have this figure as a kid, and I absolutely adored him. But seeing the update with the G.I. Joe Classified really just kind of made me go, yep, you guys figured this one out, and it looks great. The unmasked head sculpt, the taped hands with the blood on them just adds a little bit of an extra dimension. I also like the fact that the unmasked head sculpt is missing the teeth. Even when you do throw the mask on with the boxing gloves, just the little details that they added in, the silver, the reds, and the blues really pop. And then, of course, not including that speed bag or the punching bag, but the weights, I think is a nice upgrade or update, I should more say, to this particular figure. I'm going to just call it, there's going to be some 3D printers, some of those third-party makers, they're going to come up with some pretty cool stuff to include either for Big Boy and then, of course, with Sergeant Slaughter with the Slaughter Marauders. Airborne had to be one of my favorites as a kid, and I knew I was going to pick this figure up just because with the Dragonfly, but overall, I was really impressed with Airborne. It was very close to the original as far as the overall look for him. The details were in the little accessories that came with the helmet, whether it was the goggles with the covers on them, the goggles that you could put on the head, and then, of course, the night vision, the nods, all great accessories. Seeing the patch on his arm as well as the American flag on his plate carrier was just really cool. I do enjoy that the paint apps on this particular figure weren't passed over. The grenade looks good. The little, metal bandoliers, the different things like that, all really pop for this particular figure. And Airborne, again, I think is just one of those, a figure that you took from the Real American Hero and upgraded just perfectly for Classified. The head sculpt unmasked is absolutely great as well. The photoreal printing that Hasbro is using, the factory, they have really, really taken these figures up to a next notch with what they can do with that. Techno Viper, this is a figure, again, that I did have as a kid. I loved it. You'll hear comparisons to the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. This is like the Cobra mechanic, the technician, and the inclusion of all of those classic accessories, the wrench, the hammer, the welding laser rifle, whatever it is, but then also kind of the wrist readout and the 3D kind of schematic that pops up, I think is just awesome as well. Really cool. I know I'm waiting for this for the HMS when this comes out, but for your Cobra troop builders, this is not a bad figure to pick up. And then finally, there's Metalhead. And again, this is kind of like one of those just over-the-top sci-fi type of characters. In my head canon, he's the type of guy that walks out on the battlefield, fires off all his missiles, and then walks away. But the detail that the Joe team did put on this particular figure is absolutely amazing. From the cybernetic backpack, so you can carry the missiles and the missile launchers, to the changeable head sculpts, or I should say hair pieces, the toupees, if you will. One you can put for the goggles with the targeting computer, one without, and then, of course, that samurai-style helmet is just absolutely amazing, too. Recondo, this is just a repaint from what we had from Tiger Force, but damn, did this one really stand out for me. It's the little things, the little paint apps that were added, the little compass on his waist. It's the patch on his arm, the detail with the camouflage on his legs. I just absolutely love this figure. I have been probably messing with him more than any of the other retro carded figures, and I absolutely can't wait for Action Figure Therapy to move into the realm of classified when they do start producing more videos again. Let's move into WonderCon. This was kind of a Hasbro quick marketing tour, I guess, if you will. It seemed like they were really trying to celebrate the Ghostbuster movie. You did get to see the 1/18th scale O-ring Ghostbuster figures that will go with Ecto 1. But the G.I. Joe team was the last to actually present, which is kind of cool. Emily did get to share the Cobra Ferret with the Ferret Driver. This did go up for pre-order on April 4th. It did sell out relatively quick. Hopefully you were able to pick yours up. I think this is a great little added vehicle, and it also will kind of help Cobra compete with what the Joes have. For $54.99, I think that's great, but I think when we get the Tiger Paw for Tiger Force, I think it might go down to that $44.99 like we've seen from other Target vehicles. Next up, we did get to see the next wave of retro cards, which of course includes Beachhead. This is the figure that I think for a lot of folks were waiting to see that update to. I think it's our nice nod to the classic style Real American Hero Beachhead. We also did get to see the the Cobra Eel and the Snow Serpent, if I can remember names. That's horrible. We did get to see that they do have some updated paint coloring. Eel looks to be a darker gray and red than what we saw with the main classified release, and the blues and the whites on the Snow Serpent are a lot better as well. Again, Beachhead, I think, is the winner for me. Just a great overall look update. A nice nod to what we've seen in the past. The Snow Serpent, again, I like that we have those brighter blues, the whites. This will be great for a troop builder if you did get the classified regular mainline release as well. And then Eels, with this being an Amazon exclusive, I think this is just a nice way for folks to get these, especially if they wanted to troop build some more of these particular figures. We also did get a name-only reveal, and surprisingly, it is Cobra Commander, I Was Once a Man. This is from the, I believe, 1986 G.I. Joe movie with Cobra Law. I'm interested to see what Lenny and team will come up with for this particular figure. Makes me also wonder if this might be a either some sort of con figure, whether it's either San Diego Comic-Con or PulseCon, one of those two. But we'll see more, I guess, as we move into 2025. Big shout out to Chris McLeod over at the Full Force. He's been keeping us updated with the leaked listings, of course, for 2024. We did get some updates. Alpine, the Iron Grenadier Bat. Iron Grenadiers, of course, Nemesis Immortal and Road Pig. Marauder Sarge. It makes me wonder with the Whip Snakes 2-pack, could that be Spirit and Lowlight? More to come as we start to see more of name only and, of course, renders and production samples as we move forward. Chris has also kind of provided what we might see for 2025, where we'll see for Xandar, the Saw Viper, Leatherneck Dialtone, the Frag Viper, and Blowtorch. So we know at some point that Cobra Commander, I Was Once a Man, would be included in here. That's why I think it might be in one of the exclusive or miscellaneous. Also look to get a ton of retro classified. We got 6 figures, I believe, for this year, and it looks like we're going to get 9 for next year. I believe we might have 9 for this year as well. I should say. But I think it's a great way for Hasbro and the Joe team to bring back some troop builders, and that's kind of what I'm thinking we might see for the retro classified. And this is kind of where I want your guys' feedback. What figures would you like to see in the retro classified single carded figures? I know that we've already had the 3-pack of the Cobra Vipers, but if we can get a Viper that is a more classic look with the classic weapons, I think that would be a win. I also can see getting the Tele Viper in a single carded figure, not coming with the trouble bubble, so you can really build those out as troop builders as well. And then a classic Cobra Trooper with the red cloth mask instead of what we've seen for some of the updates for classified. And then maybe we might even see some green shirts. I know that folks have been asking for those, possibly even some Steel Brigade as well too. But what are some figures you guys would like to see brought back in retro card? Dr. Mindbender, maybe Serpentor. Are there some classified figures you'd like to see? Maybe just take them back a little bit to those real American hero days. Let me know in the comments below. There was also an update, again, this is from Chris over at the Full Force, that there are new Selfie Series listings. I think my 2 cents. I get the Snake Eyes and Scarlet. Those were 2 iconic figures. I can also understand wanting Storm Shadow, but I think, and this is just me, if you can have either a Dreadnought type character, or let's just do troop builders. Maybe it is a Cobra officer. Maybe it is a Steel Brigade with the Selfie Series. Might be a better way of enticing Joe fans to invest some of their hard-earned money on these. Of course, also being able to update the 3D printed heads is also a must. But again, be on the lookout if you did have the Selfie Series before. I did. I'm a bald guy with a beard, so it was pretty hard for them to mess up my head sculpt. But more to come on this as we find out. In Super 7 news, kind of not surprising, but the Wave 6 Ultimate didn't hit its MOQ, which means we won't see Baroness, Lady J, or Scarlet in some of those retro comic colors. Makes me start to wonder if maybe the Ultimates for G.I. Joe are getting just pushed out of the market because of the number of classified, as well as Mezco is starting to ship a number of these figures as well. I really hope Super 7 does a great job with the O-ring figures. I think that's going to give a lot of Joe fans who still collect the 3 3/4 inch a great way of doing some deep cuts into some of the comic characters that we might not have seen Hasbro produce. Hiya Toys did also announce the Tomax and Zema. These figures look really good. These are the 4-inch modern scale. So if folks are collecting these, I will include the link for these below. They are $24.99, so pretty much the same price as a classified, just in the 4-inch scale. Again, though, this is Hiya. They're making a lower quantity, and these are imports, I believe, as well. And then finally, let's talk some Skeletron. If you are someone who did back this, there was an announcement that went out through the backer kit, as well as I believe on Skeletron's Facebook page. They are getting the finalized production samples for the Robo Skull. It looks absolutely amazing. The packaging, and then we're getting to see some of the test shots for the 6-inch action figure. And it really looks like this is finally starting to make that big turn around the corner. And we should see the Robo Skull with the 4-inch pilots ship in the summer, and then probably late summer, early fall, the 6-inch figures will be shipped out as well. Ben did say that once all of the Kickstarter backer kits are all filled and completed, they will put up the Robo Skull for pre-order on Skeletron's website, so that folks who maybe didn't get in on the Kickstarter can pick this up as well too. So don't pay that secondary market prices just yet. Be on the lookout for the opportunity to pick up the Robo Skull later on this year. Also, Battle Action Force. This is a collab between three different companies that are looking to bring back the weekly Action Force comics that were produced, of course, in England and Great Britain, and with the help of Hasbro and, of course, Skeletron, Rebellion, and I believe Brian Hickey are bringing back this. This will be a book series that you'll be able to pick up, where you'll be able to get those weekly comics all in basically one edition or two or three. But I will include the link below if you are interested in any of the Battle Action Force comics or books. Brian and Patty do some great jobs, and I believe they also provide some great work with the Skeletron for that part of the backer kit as well too. Finally, just want to send a big thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. I hope you'll throw your support between a couple of my friends, Black Genghis KJ, and of course Tony Figs. They have recently just kind of launched their channels, and I would love to see them continue to grow their subscriber base. Tony is an amazing customizer and is showing off some of his customs. And then, of course, KJ is just a knowledgeable toy collector and puts on one heck of a show. Such a fun guy, a lot of passion. Go check out their channels. I will include them in the links. But more importantly, I hope you guys are having a great weekend. It is WrestleMania weekend. Hopefully it is enjoyable. If you're not a wrestling fan, that's cool too. But just want to say thank you to everybody. I hope you guys have a great day, night, evening, wherever you're at on the island of Misfit Toy Collectors. We'll talk to you all.